Sufism is not a third sect after Sunnism and Shiism. It's a surprise that even now some textbooks state it that way. It's not that there are three sects, Sunnism is one, Shiism is another, and then Sufism is a third one. No. Sufism adds a flavor to whatever school of law you follow. And all Sufis follow some school of law themselves. So when you talk of a certain Sufi, that Sufi himself would be following a school of law. And when you talk of a scholar, that scholar probably would be following a Sufi order, a member of that order. So the two are intermixed. It's mostly a Sunni phenomenon, although there are Shiite Sufis also. But important to note, it's not a third sect as such. Second, in the West especially, Sufism is sometimes presented as the moderate face of Islam. We are afraid of Islam, but we are not afraid of Sufism. So there have been attempts, both by the government of the USA and by the rather apologetic Muslims, to push Sufism to the forefront. I say, oh, no, I am a Sufi. You don't have to be afraid of me. I'm not a suicide bomber, I'm a Sufi. There's no such thing as Sufism in the sense in which it is sometimes presented. If you're a Sufi, George Bush would receive a Sufi in the White House. Kabbani was his name. He puts out a magazine also, Al-Muslimun, the Muslims. See, Sufism is the spiritual aspect of Islam. That's it. And Sufism can be and has been a very militant phenomenon if it needs to be. And Sufis have fought against colonial powers in many parts of the Muslim world, in India, Sudan, Algeria, other places. Just as Muslims are not going around itching for a fight, I have to fight you because I'm a Muslim. That does not happen. Likewise, Sufis are not people who say, oh, I will not fight you regardless, so you can trust me. I hate the sword. No, that's not the case. If war is imposed on a Muslim society, then all Muslims are supposed to take up the sword and fight, as you read in the passage yesterday or the other day, study circle. So defending oneself, one's country, is an obligation. And Sufis participate in that and historically have been participating in this fight. The French exiled some Sufi leaders in Algeria who were mounting the struggle against French colonialism. Those were Sufi people. There's no such thing as Sufism is moderate Islam, and Islam, unqualified by the word Sufi, is militant and aggressive and so on. That distinction does not hold up at all. Okay? Finally, the word Touheed. Touheed is the Arabic word for Islamic monotheism. Literally, it means to make one. It does not mean being one, but to make one. And making one signifies that you give proof of the oneness of God, of Touheed, through your conduct, through what you do. And there are 4 principal modes of understanding Touheed. That is, of proving that God is one, and I accept that doctrine, that view. One is jurisprudence, fiqh is the Arabic word. This is the practical approach. That is, you have the right belief, faith, and you do the right works. And by having right belief, doing the right actions, you say, I submit to the one God. This is how you make one. This is how you do Touheed, so to speak. Theology, Kalam, is a dogmatical approach. That is, you accept the basic dogmas of the religion that you belong to, and then you use reason to support, justify, and vindicate those dogmas. In other words, you use reason, but this is aided reason. Your starting point is the religion itself. Then there's the philosophical approach, intellectual approach, falsafa, philosophy, and this is unaided reason. That is, you start from first principle. You don't say, I belong to this religion and therefore these are my arguments to support this religion. You stand outside all religions, all traditions, and say, I'll just start making my inquiry starting from first principles. That is unaided reason. And finally, Sufism, Tasawuf is the Arabic word. This is the experiential approach. That is, you experience, or try to experience God, not simply intellectually, I can prove God by offering reasons, whether in theology or philosophy. Experience is the criterion. You feel God in your spirit, in the inmost recesses of your being. Okay? So 4 approaches, and this is where Sufism stands. As you can see from this scheme, these approaches are not, repeat, these approaches are not mutually exclusive. And a good Muslim would try to combine as many as he or she can. And if you can do that, you will be doing Touheed, making one, in the ideal, perfect sense.